What's going on, people? Welcome back to my Final Destination series. Today we're reviewing Final Destination 3. So Final Destination 3 is directed by James Wong, who directed the original film, and it stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And in the third film, a high school senior named Wendy has a premonition that this roller coaster will be the death of her and her classmates. She says a few lies, but death comes for them after the accident, one by one. So here we are, Final Destination 3. One that people consider to be one of the better films in the franchise. And I was quite excited to see this one, mainly because it's got Mary Elizabeth Winstead in. I think she's a really good actress, and seeing her in a really early role like this was just kind of exciting. And I'm happy to say that I really enjoyed Final Destination 3. I feel it's better than Final Destination 1, but not as good as Final Destination 2. One thing I've always really liked about the Final Destination films is there's a new gimmick every time in each film. In the first one, it was all about understanding the basics of death and the pattern that they kill people in. And the second one, it was about signs of how people will die. And in this one, the signs are about photos. The photos hint at how each person will die. And I just thought that was a really neat idea, how people looked at the photos and they have to gather clues of what's happening, have to figure out how these people will die so they can warn them before it happens. I just thought that was a really neat idea, and I really like what they did with that. And for the first time in this franchise, the kills actually managed to get a bit of an ick out of me, especially that tanning bed scene. Oh my god, if you don't know, one of my most feared ways to die is being burnt alive. I mean, oh, that is just horrible. And just seeing that happen to these two girls in this tanning bed, oh my god, it was not a nice scene to watch. I also really like the opening scene with the roller coaster. I don't think it hits the heights of the plane scene and the highway scene in 1 and 2, but it is still really good, and it does help that the original director returns, so he obviously knows how to portray this moment. However, one complaint I did have with death in this movie is that it becomes a lot more sentient. Things move on their own without rhyme or reason, and I don't like that. I don't really like that. I like when the deaths look like happy accidents, when it didn't mean to happen. But in this, for example, a forklift moves by itself, and I didn't really like that. I just thought that was very out of place. In terms of the characters, there's still nothing amazing. I do think Wendy is one of the more likeable protagonists in the Final Destination films. She's recently overcoming some past trauma, and then this situation happened, so you can imagine what it's like for her. She's nothing complex or anything, but she really is likeable nonetheless. However, this film did bring to light a flaw which the other films do have as well, where every single character, even if it's just some random pedestrians, don't really react to the deaths when they happen. Like, imagine if you saw something like the gym death. You'd be absolutely horrified. But in this movie, it's like everyone just goes, ooh. It's like, what? Like, this movie really opened my eyes to that problem. Technically, I think the film was really strong. As I said, I really did like the opening roller coaster sequence. Reminded me a lot of the plane one because of the whole shaky cam. You can't really tell what's going on, which I do like because this is a bit of a fast and pacey situation. Your mind's all over the place. So I do think that directing style for that scene was really good. Also, the makeup artist did a really good job with the gore and blood. It looks really realistic. They did some really cool things with the kills. Honestly, hats off to them. They really do stand out in these films. And finally, the performances are actually not bad in this film. And that's only really because Mary Elizabeth Winstead is really good here. This is the first time where performance has actually been really good. Like, she sells the character really well. She produces a whole lot of emotions really well too. She's a brilliant actress, and she's really good in this too. Overall, Final Destination 3 is another win for this franchise. It has some of the best kills in the franchise, probably has the best lead character in the franchise too. I really did like the new gimmick that they have for this film as well. Honestly, Final Destination 3 was just as enjoyable as the previous two. As I said, not as good as 2, but better than 1. I had a good time with Final Destination 3. It's easily one of my favourites of the franchise so far. I'm going to give it a very solid 7 out of 10. And people, that is the end of this review. If you have seen Final Destination 3, do let me know your thoughts on it. Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day, and see you later.